You need a dose of this.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me once again. I am here coming to you on a show that I entitled You Need a Dose of This. Why do you need a dose of this? Because this is the good stuff. I have Mr. Ray Jamison in the background. We are going to talk to him today about the Madcaps, which is his mini-series. It's a 3-issue mini-series, and I thought that was a brilliant way to do this because if you guys produce comics or are indie creators, you know how hard and how expensive it is to create comics or to create ongoing series. It's incredibly expensive. It is a lot of work. And we have to do it all. We have to be, marketers. We have to be not just the creative team, but the marketers, the, HR. I mean, we got to do it all. So big shout out to him. I can't wait to bring him on. We're going to deep dive into this book, The Madcaps, because I think it's a great book. It's fun. And I want to talk to Ray about the concept behind it, how he came up with it. We're gonna show you guys some pages from the books, issues 1 and 2. Issue 3 is currently on Kickstarter, so we're gonna talk about the Kickstarter. I definitely want you guys to check out the Kickstarter and pledge if you can. Help him. He's already funded, but it is very important to keep pledging because sometimes pledges fall off, they don't go through, and things like that happens. It's very important to, even though it's funded, continue to pledge. Plus, you get, rewards for pledging when we've gone over our goal. It's called stretch goals. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. But just wanted to also let you guys know that I also have a project coming up. It's called the Shameless Plug. It is my graphic novel, 140 pages. It is almost done. If you guys signed up to my newsletter, you know that you guys can vote for the cover. So make sure you vote for the cover. So far, one cover is winning over all of them. And I will let you guys know what that cover is the day we launch, which is May 26th. So make sure you go to getyourmeds.com. You can check all that information out there. And that's about it. I am not going to take any more time. I want to bring him in. I want to talk to Ray. So here he is. There he is.
There we are.
Ray Jamison. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. Life is good, and I'm having a good time talking comics.
Good, man. Good. Yeah. No, it's awesome, dude. I thank you so much for coming on. You were on our show on the Catch the Craze podcast.
Yes.
I do with my buddy Sam. And we had a good time. We had fun talking about your project. Back then, you were promoting it. You were talking about how it was coming to Kickstarter. And so you did that. I want to talk to you a little bit about that strategy, right? Because everybody says, the pre-launch page is up. Make sure you promote it so that when you do go live, you have a better chance to kind of like get funded right away. People get to know that fact that it's out there. How did that work out for you? How did it work?
In regards to the promotion end?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll give you a really good visual. 2012, the first Avengers movie.
Yes.
So one of the most interesting things I liked about Tony Stark and Steve Rogers both come to the same conclusion roughly at the same time, where Tony sneakily puts something on the shield helicarrier and hacks some data, where Steve Rogers just goes and finds the inventory and finds the old Hydra tech, but they figure it out at the same time. Well, I don't have any magical hacking devices to get viewers. So the other way is you do it the hard way, the old-fashioned way. And promotion, this is my 64th podcast and stream promoting this issue.
Wow, bro.
And last year, after the campaign was funded and everything was done on Kickstarter, I hit only 62. So my goal is to hit 80 right now. And my mentality behind it is, how can people even say no to something if they're not even aware of it existing?
True.
So I'm just going on and just wholeheartedly, like, my actions speak for me. So I've been like just talking to everybody. I very much enjoyed the story. I've very much enjoyed the process, the talent, the art, everything attached. And I just want people to see the honesty of what that is. So I don't have that any high-tech way of getting people's eyes on my project, but I can do it the old-fashioned way and just think 1-2 people at a time. Hey, check this out. I guarantee you'll at least appreciate it, and these are the reasons why.
Yeah. No, big shout out to Niobe Comic. There he is. Thank you for joining us, Niobe. Appreciate you. No, dude. And so my follow-up to that is, okay, so you did what? Was it 62? Or how many did you do prior?
Last year was 62. I've just broken that. This is 64, you and me right now.
So, but before you even launched, how many had you done? How many?
That's in total. So leading up to launching this time around was 62 even. 63. So you're 64 going there.
So now are you going to go back on those shows that you went to promote? Are you going back now to say, I'm live, go check it out? Is that the plan?
If there's availability, okay. It all has to do with scheduling. The thing is, once you launch, so whatever for me, it's 30 days. So I have 30 days to do it. But anytime prior to that, as long as you're tracking back, the earlier you start, the more opportunity it is to talk about everything. So I did a couple before the new year, but pretty much I've been going full throttle a couple weeks into January.
And you have 26 days left. So for those who maybe just joined us, I am talking to Mr. Ray Jamison. We are talking to him about his book, The Madcaps, which is currently live on Kickstarter. And if you haven't done so yet, please check it out. I put the note in the show notes. You'll have the link, and you'll also have it in the chat for you guys to check it out. So you're at 32 backers right now. We're getting really close to $2,000, man, and that's freaking dope. I love the fact that you are that close. Niobe says, well, I had to check on a fellow Canadian. And
shout out to the East Coast.
Yeah, and if you need a guest in the future, let me know for sure. Thank you, Niobe. We really appreciate you. If you guys just joining us, also please make sure you subscribe, like, comment, do all that fun stuff. Let's share this stream out also to your people so that we can get more eyes on what Ray is doing and get him maybe a couple of more pledges tonight. So, Ray, like I said, you were on our Catch the Craze podcast. We talked about the book a little bit. You had sent me some reader copies of the book. I do want to share some of that stuff with the audience so they can see some of the stuff. It's always easier to see what you're getting into rather than us just talking about what are these guys talking about. You know, like, okay, so he's got a book, big deal. This book is great. It's beautifully drawn. The writing is top notch. Tell me a little bit about how did this thing come about? Where did the idea come from?
Well, it came from a couple of different places. So the first one is, I'll give you a bit of background information leading up to that point. Almost half my life ago, I moved across country and I left everything. I left family, I left friends, I left everything under the sun for a job opportunity. And I've always wanted to find ways to hang out with my friends via webcam. It's not like not everybody can afford unlimited plane tickets to be flying here, there, and everywhere. So I offered to start trying Dungeons and Dragons, and we ended up making this really cool lore. And when I say I established the land, all the governments, the monsters, the creatures, and everything that's going around in the world, but they were the players, and they helped shaped how just like any RPG, you can have direct influence on how stories' outcomes are. And I very much enjoyed my friends. We still have this going on. There's a campaign I have going on right now. We've had a couple months pause as D&D campaigns go. But all of these different campaigns we have going on, they all take place in the same reality, if you will. And basically, what I wanted to do is I wanted to express some of these stories in some way, and I decided to go through comic books. This is something that I've been involved with since before I earlier past my memories. So I had an older brother. First 5 years of my life, you're basically the sidekick to your older brother's interests before you start becoming your own person. But I started looking out to different talent, and I took one of the stories in this homebrew content. I took out the characters that the players are playing as, and I injected my own characters into it. And I based it off of people I know and things they aspire to be, and I got to exaggerate their strengths and weaknesses. And Over time, I thought I had a really good script, so I went as far as using an online platform called Roll20, where you can make your own board games or tabletop RPGs. And I actually moved the characters around. And my inspiration for that was the original Civil War for Marvel. I think that was 2006.
Yeah.
There were so many characters going on that at one point the editor had a post-it for each character with a name on it to move them around and group them accordingly. I did like a mini scale version of that, and I very much enjoyed the story. My last thing to refine it all together in regards to writing is I wanted to make sure they were all relevant. Like if you took any one individual out, certain things just would not work out, just to give them all justification. I didn't want it to be like the third X-Men movie where it should have just been titled the Wolverine show, you know, like I wanted to give them all relevant balance and some type of expression and meaning. And I was very happy. I was very happy, but I was also very surprised how well the story melted together.
Yeah, no, you did a really good job, and I actually liked one of the things that you did to kind of tell the story. And I'm a huge fan of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and the way she tells the stories through a letter, right?
Yeah.
And so you did that, especially in the first. I mean, I think both issues have it, but you had letters being written to from two different characters.
Yes.
Their loved one or whoever they're writing to, which I thought was a really fun way to do it, because you're able to, you know, use the dreaded exposition, right? You're able to use that, but you did it in a way where it didn't just sound like you were just dumping a bunch of information to us.
5 minutes later, those types of things in there.
Yeah, no, of course. And which, to be honest with you, I think you need it in stories. You just got to know how to do it right.
Yes. Yeah. There's for me originally, I didn't have any narration in the background. And the main reason I changed that is a lot of people that I had review the script, they told me that they were not a fan, or I shouldn't say not a fan of Chazgo, but they felt he had something going on, like he wasn't completely on the level. So what I ended up doing was the first issue, I had him narrate to give him some, I don't want to say humanity per se, but a lot more relatability. Like you could see he has care for his friends. But the thing is, I didn't want it to be the Chazgo show. So each issue is narrated by a different person. The last issue is narrated by Madcaps. One thing I like about using the different people tracking data is they all express it very differently. Madcaps is just a big brain, so his is more like a log. It's not like a letter to, it's like a journal, but factual. Where the first one, Chazgo's writing to somebody that's very close to him named Annette, and Sarlacc is writing to somebody we only know as the name of Zara.
Right.
And one thing I really liked about that is I wanted this story to feel like the world and reality exists before the story starts, and the same thing after when it's done. And there's a really tough balance sometimes, because there's times when if you're giving too much information, it just sounds like a bunch of ad-lib stuff, like comedians on stage. But I wanted it to feel like there's a lot of depth. And go ahead.
No, I was going to let you finish. I had some, but I was going to let you finish your thought.
All I was going to say is a great example of the depth that I really appreciate. The first couple pages of issue 1, Madcaps does not want to go to Ivywood, and when he announces who he is, as the guards ask, they're not a fan of him, and he just says Ivywood's charges against me were dropped, which says, okay, well, he obviously has had some negative experiences of place. So I didn't need people to know every detail for a 3-issue miniseries introducing 4 new characters and having a beginning, middle, end story. There's times where you should be cutting corners so people can get the feel, but not lose the character development and having that overshadow what the story is.
What I did like about that is that it made me ask questions. Like, I want to know more about Ivywood. I want to know what Madcaps did there. I want to know who Zara is. I want to know all of these things that you kind of like just basically introduced me into. And like, I want to know more, which I think is the mark of a good story, of a story that's well told, is yes, questions, but they're not plot holes. They're purposely there for you to basically ask those questions. And if you want more, then let me know, because then I can maybe produce some more, right? As the writer,
Yes.
right? Like that's what that is. Let me see if I can present this. Let me share this some of these pages. But no, I really did enjoy the story itself. And this is page, actually this is issue number 2.
That
right?
one's number 1. That's the
this
first page of issue 1.
No, I think. Oh yes, it is. You're right. It is. This page is gorgeous.
Thanks, man.
It really is. Now, scripting. How much of this detail was in your script, or did Evan just go in and say, "Okay, you want that? Okay, cool. Let's do that." Did he choose the angle? Did you write it this way? How much of this was in the script?
So, well, first and foremost, shout out to Evan Quiring.
Yes.
Evan, he did issue 1. Unfortunately, he wasn't available for the next 2 issues. He has his own projects, and I was very fortunate to get him for the 1 issue.
Yeah.
Something I tried to do with, and I've said this on a couple other podcasts. I had a drafting instructor once tell me, if you're going to communicate something, doesn't matter how you communicate it, there's like 4 C's you have to cross. It has to be clear, it has to be concise. Clear, complete, concise, and correct. And if you're missing any one of those 4 things, there's a margin of play where people can interpret it a different way. On the flip side of that, if you have too many creative constraints, you choke out the artist's flair. You box them in too much. So in this case, I actually, in the first issue, I took a whiteboard and I kind of did a storyboard with stickman style, kind of thinking,
Really?
I think the panels would look good like this or something. But then I made sure to disclaim, if you think A, this perspective would look better in this way, or B, I think these 2 panels combined would look a lot better than what you're trying to deliver, I said, go for it. I trust your instincts.
Right.
And then eventually we had some type of middle ground, and it was awesome. So in some cases, it's exactly as I envisioned. In a lot of other cases, it was completely different. And I just said, go for it. It looks great. I'm happy.
Yeah, no, this looks beautiful, dude. Like, and Dan Kemp, great colors there.
Yes.
I mean, this is the team up here. If you guys can see it, it's right here on the upper right-hand corner. So you have the writer, editor, Evan, obviously Dan Kemp. And I got to give a shout out to Micah Myers.
Yes.
Which, to me, the letters are the unsung heroes of these comics.
Yes.
Because, everybody will talk about, oh my God, the pencils, the inks, and the colors look amazing. But the letters are very important, because they can make or break a book.
Yes.
They're supposed to be, you're supposed to not be able to see them.
Yeah, they're invisible.
But they're the most important thing, because that's what you're reading in the story. And I thought Micah, huge shout out to them, because they did an incredible job. Just from the placement of the Filbo Publishing Presents, the Madcaps, like everything, the way it's done. It reminded me of like the comic books that I grew up reading, right? Like when you had the big splash page and you did all that.
Thank you.
So great job with that as far as the team goes. Now, this is the first page. It puts you right into this world. And that's what I liked about this page. It brought you right into what we're going to do. This is the scene that you're talking about. These are the 2 characters here. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom, because you do have something really cool in this issue. And I don't know if when they pledge to the campaign, the issues that they get continue to look this way, or you've changed them a little bit. But at the end, you have bios of like the 4 main characters and who they are. And you kind of break down, their backgrounds and things like that, which I thought was really awesome. Are you going to keep that? Is that this book as it is, or have you changed that since?
I'm going to keep that in there. And the main reason, like we were saying earlier, it's such a condensed amount of time. Mm-hmm. You can't focus too much on character development. Like, you need to have it, but you have to have that balance. I figured putting those bios was kind of like a cheat code, where I got to focus more on it, but not take away from the story.
Yeah, no, I love even these layouts here, like with the 3 panels here at the bottom, with these guys, the guard and him talking. It's like they're not fully independent. Like, the design of it is really great. Is that something, again, you guys collaborated with, or you kind of just said, hey, do your thing, I trust you here?
50-50.
Yeah.
So I give some examples, and then he feels something and then shows it, and I'm like, yeah, keep going, make it happen.
This is great, dude. How did you feel when you got these pages, bro? Like when you had finished your script and you get these pages, you must have been like, "Holy crap, this is awesome."
It felt, well, first and foremost, we're talking, for example, Dan Kemp. He's had a passive influence on my entire childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking like like Spawn 50 to 150, or the John Ramada Jr. era of Spider-Man, where Peter Parker was a high school teacher. Suddenly he's coloring my own thing. That feels kind of weird, you know. And it's my first time. It's my first time on the creative side of a comic book. It's like, I think I've said this before in a couple other places. This is like having Elvis Presley or Kurt Cobain perform a song that I've written. It feels very, wow, this is very real.
How did you get in contact with Dan?
Just like everybody else, social media. I just simply put, I just asked, and I got a lot of no. Don't get me wrong. Lots of people said no, and I walk into this game understanding that, because who am I in the grand scheme of the comic industry? I'm just starting, right? So I expected a lot of people, but I also know if I don't ask, it's a guaranteed no. So just ask, no, okay, I get it, awesome, thanks for thanks for replying and getting back to me. And some people, yeah, really, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and that is the truth there. Madrakis, his font, that's awesome. I like the fact that he has a different font. You can almost hear him speak different than everybody else. That decision, you talked to your letter about it, or did Micah just say, "Hey, I have an idea for this character. I'm going to do this"?
Well, Madrakis' anatomy, in regards to like his mouth and jaw and everything else, it's very different than any humanoid, really. I think of like any kid's show where they use CGI to make a dog or a cat speak to you. Their mouth takes a completely different shape, so it kind of throws it off for me. But if you had something like a horse, like a Beta Ray Bill, for example, or some type of like a crocodile, if it were to try and speak English like we are right now, it probably is going to have some type of either a disability like a lisp, or it's going to have an accent or something, because these are non-human mouths trying to produce these sounds. My goal was, I wanted the font on first impressions being annoying to read, just like the first time you hear an accent you're not used to, but after a half hour you hear them perfectly fine. And I wanted, after a while you read it, your eyes adjust and you're good to go.
They do, actually. You're right, they do. At first I was like, okay, okay, I see it, and then you kind of it starts flowing. But it also, I think it adds that, they're a different character. Like, it gives them character in a sense, other than just what they're saying, is how they're saying it, and the visual is the way to make that work. I know you said that we could go ahead and just keep scrolling through these pages. I read the book again today just so that it could be fresh in my mind. And what I liked about it is I love adventure stories that have a purpose. The characters in the story are going on a journey, and we're coming along for that journey. This is very much that. I know you've talked about this on other podcasts about what it is, that it's four friends kind of get together. The story takes place all in one night. Talk a little bit about the story itself and what it's about for those.
Well, first and foremost, you got to disclaim, because anybody who's on the fence just looking at this, fantasy has the stigma to it. Well, usually that stigma is slay dragon, bring princess back to castle, and this has none of that. This story, as you've already said, is about four friends meeting back in their hometown. The little guy there with the goggles, Dunanini, he has a means of employment, and he wants to metaphorically get the band back together for this contract. Spoiler alert, because this takes place over one night, you won't see what that job is, because it isn't about that job. But the night starts off with them being at ground zero of an attempted outbreak of the undead, which they help the guards stave off, as you can see in these couple of pages here. And one thing I like about Chazgo, because he has to hide who he is, he can't help his friends here, so he leaves to get guards.
Chazgo, right?
Yes, that's him disguised as a human. But after the outbreak is staved off, it's led to believe that this has something to do with a local drug called weave. And the story basically goes from there of, are these two things mutually exclusive, or what is behind this thing? What's connecting the two?
Right. Yep. Yep.
There's Madracus vomiting lightning because he can store it in his gizzard.
This is insane. This is awesome. Jeez. Holy cow.
Yeah, there's like one of the things when you want to introduce something, like I've got a couple pages dedicated to this outbreak, and I wanted it to feel like there was some level of severity going on. So those three there, without Chazgo, just the three of them, at one point they almost get overwhelmed. I wanted to make sure that there was some level of relatability. Don't get me wrong. Everybody thinks it's cool to be all powerful like a Kryptonian, but a lot of people respect Batman because he doesn't have any of that and somehow squeaks out a win. Yeah. Putting the plot armor of Batman aside, there is a chance that these people, these individuals, could fall. They could die. I wanted them to feel like, okay, can they actually make it through this? By the time you see issue 3, we're at the end of the night, and we're talking about individuals who are very fatigued. They've basically pulled an all-nighter.
I mean, look at this. They've done. Look at all this. Look at all of that. Like, they're
tired. So the only reason they are continuing on this final issue to actually, they find out it has something to do with the necromancer and hunting her down, is they are the closest, and it's time sensitive because there is a curse that is going to be set on the town by sunrise, and everything leading up to that point puts you in a position of, can these exhausted individuals actually survive, let alone pull off a win here?
Yeah. I like how you have included in the story some of the locals, right, who help them in doing what they have to do. You know, like you sprinkle them in throughout, so it doesn't feel like a dead town,
like overly isolated.
Yeah, it feels like it's alive. The town is alive, and these guys obviously are locals. They're from there. You know what I mean? Like, whether they grew up there or but they did, you know, like we say here in New York, they did their dirty work and they did dirty stuff in there. And so you got to get a sense of that. I mean, you know, him being, you know, not allowed there, charges being dropped, you wonder what those charges are. What the hell did they get into that happened to him? So I really, really appreciated that when I was reading it.
Yeah, and one thing I very much enjoyed, I remember Todd McFarlane when just before he did his solo Spider-Man comic, and he had to draw for another writer. Well, he had to he was always complaining. He said it'd always be like an invasion in Central Park with every citizen of New York watching, and it would be an invasion of like thousands of aliens, and you had to draw that on every panel. He says, if the world revolved around me, it would just be two people in a very dark cave. So that would obviously be very boring, but I also understand the dynamic of unnecessary copious amounts of detail, especially if the panels get a little smaller and you're covering up. A lot of it's going to get covered up with dialogue.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamics going on there and a lot to consider. One thing I do very hard is I'll consider one dynamic, go back through the script. Is it appeased? And then consider another dynamic and do the same thing.
Yeah. No, and that's, you know, at first I was like, as I'm reading it, you know, I was like, all right, cool. These are these 4 characters. And I'm like, oh, and then you throw in like, you know, there's a, I think in issue number 2, they go to a church. And you know that I forget. I think it's who's the little guy? I forget his name.
Dunnan.
He's talking to one of the priests or one of the clergymen at the church, and he's talking about how important his friends are to him. And I thought it was a very heartwarming moment where you kind of get to understand why this is important to him. You know, it's almost like. And I've had those situations. As I'm getting older, my friends, we don't hang out as much, right? We used to play basketball together all the time. We barely do it anymore, right? And I think that kind of brought me back to like, damn, I do miss my boys. Like, you know, like this is the kind of stuff we would get into and how important it is for him. Is this based? Obviously, you talked about how you did it's a D&D thing, but like, is Dunnan based on a specific person in your life, or is it based on you?
Yeah, well, Dunnan, like the other three, they're all based off of people I know, and then I try to not just the person, but the things they appreciate, and then exaggerate their strengths and weaknesses. Right. So Dunnan, as it says in the bio, he has parents that are two different races. He has a gnomish mother and a dwarven father, and he has a lot of difficulties with this. He's a little shorter than your average dwarf, and he can't grow a beard, but compared to a gnome, he's like a giant. So he draws from both bloodlines, but he has a hard time fitting in with either culture. And because of that, he finds just as much comfort or bonding, if you will, with any friend as he would a family member.
Yeah. These are awesome designs. I know you have the concept art by Jay Sloan. You hired him specifically for the designs? What I wanted is after the first book was done, I said to Jay, I want some dynamic black and white concepts of these guys, and he was happy to appease accordingly. Yeah. No, these are awesome. I love the way these came out. I really like the idea of having, bio cards. Sarlacc is awesome. I think he's probably my favorite character in the book. Just he's funny, and he's powerful, man. Like, and they all have their own thing, but I don't know, for some reason I really like Sarlacc.
One thing I like about Sarlacc a lot is he has lots of ability and lots of potential, but he downplays, and you see that in various different ways. The first one is when Madrakis razzes him out and says, "Are you look a little underdressed?" And he says, "This isn't a battlefield. I've got nothing to prove to myself here." Later on, in a couple of different areas, there's people he's telling to go to his church to get some food, and if they need to rest their head. He never really glorifies anything he personally does.
Yeah, no, he's freaking awesome. I'm gonna pull up issue number 2 because at this point, like you said, Evan had stuff. Is that his name? I messed up his name already.
Sarlacc, Dunnan.
No. The
Chasgo, Madrak. Evan Quiring in issue 1. And
I love that you were just firing names at me. I was like, wait, no, not
that'll jog your memory. Evan Quiring, he did the interiors for issue 1, and then we had Victor Medina, who did issue 2 and 3 coming up.
Yeah, big shout out to him, man. We share a last name, so he's automatically awesome. We could be brothers, Paul. I have no idea. I got to check with my dad, see what's going on in another part of the world. But this is issue number 2. I think I have it up on the screen.
Yes, that's correct.
It is.
Now, little interesting thing about that first page. The guy, I wish I knew this before. I didn't find out until we were promoting issue 3. The guy Dunnan is sitting on looks exactly like Victor Medina. He did that on purpose. And if I knew that, I would have made sure that dialogue was down a bit.
The box, yes.
So I was a little angry at myself at that. I wish I knew, but Victor's very humble. One time we were on a podcast together and this page came up and he said that. I'm like, oh man, I feel terrible.
Said something. I mean, you had room to bring it down too. I think you have plenty of room to bring that down.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I love when artists do that. I have a buddy of mine that will sprinkle himself into book or sprinkle us into stories just for ish and giggles. Like he just does it. And I love when there's little odes like that, little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
I like the fact that his head's got a bandage. This is an awesome page. Now, while obviously you have a different artist, I like the fact that the continuity of the book didn't. I'm going to use the word suffer, but that's not the word I want.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, you couldn't tell unless I read who the new penciler is. Now, when I say you couldn't tell, I just mean that it wasn't.
I know what you're saying. I get from what I've heard, the best of what you're saying is, unless it's brought up, you wouldn't have noticed. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Same colorist, which kind of hides in plain sight that very thing. There's a couple of things going on there, but I understand what you're talking about. It's something that's so mild, you unless somebody points it out,
Yeah.
you wouldn't even consider that.
And it's not a slight on either artist, right? It's not to
Right.
say, oh, Victor's art looks like everybody else's, or Evan's
Vice
art. No,
versa.
it's not that. It's just you did a good job. And it happens in a lot of books. We were talking about Spider-Man. When I was collecting Spider-Man back in the days, my first Spider-Man artist was Eric Larson. And he had just finished, who was it? Todd's run had just finished. Eric took it over, and Eric and Todd's art were similar, not the same, but similar. So it didn't really, look that different, at least not to me at the time.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
And then right after him was Mark Bagley, and that was a good transition for me. I didn't really, and it didn't mean that they were, copying each other, whatever. It just meant that the artwork was that good. It didn't matter who was drawing it,
Right.
But yeah, so this is Victor. Awesome book. Now, what I did notice about Victor's art is that when I saw the size differences of the characters, it was more evident when he was drawing them. Like there are in some pages, you really see the size difference. Like,
yes.
What's his name? Dramakis? Is that how to say his name?
Madrakis.
Madrakis.
Yes, sir.
He's 6'7", right?
Yeah.
Then you have, a gentleman 3'11", 4, whatever. So you start seeing the difference. And I want to pull up that page right here. You see that? Like there you see, wait a minute, is that, am I seeing this right? Like this guy's humongous.
Yes.
And then you got this little guy down here, but I thought he did a great job doing that, first of all. And I didn't really notice that in the other book until I came and saw this. And then I looked back and it didn't bother me, but now I see the size difference. Was that I don't want to use the word bothered you. Was that something that you kind of were like, you know what? It's all right. It looks great. I'm just going to let that one go.
Well, one of the cool things about the comic book medium is not everything. You're not going to take out your scale and measure everything.
Correct.
This is art first, precision second. When I say art, it's the rule of cool, in my opinion. If it looks good, go for it. Obviously, there's consistencies you want to keep, but Victor had more attention to that scaling, and it works. The other ones you don't really notice. I mean, in the first couple pages of issue 1, you can see Dunnan and Madrakis are significantly different in size. But in this one, Victor just really wants to hit that nail on the head, it seems. So it's an important detail for him to express.
Yeah, he leaned on it and it was great. I also love this right here. Like just the, when what's her name?
Emmix.
Emmix, when the bird shows up, and then the way that Dan colored it.
Yes.
The background. It was just really just the little details, man. They look so cool. And it doesn't get the art doesn't get lost, it's highlighted, but then you still see that effect in the background, which I thought was freaking cool, man.
Yeah. Yeah, these guys are pros. Like they know what they're doing. They're not messing around.
No, not at all. Now, as far as the story, this part of the story here, when you're introducing all of these other things that they can do, was that something that was in quote unquote your Bible as far as like what these characters were going to be able to do, or did the story kind of call for some of these things to happen within?
I get what you're saying. There's a couple of things there. First and foremost, in regards to these characters, if I wanted to continue the story, in my mind, I have the majority of the milestones and critical moments in their lives leading up to their metaphorical deathbeds. So the other part is, if you ever say go on a date or go into a job interview, if you spill out your life on your sleeve right away, most, not always, but most often, people are turned off by that. So I did not have to show, like Chazgo in the first issue, you don't really see much of what's going on with what he can do until the back third of the book.
Yeah.
And now it's a little more focused on him while somebody else is narrating. So this would be a time to show this bird. This would be a time to show this. This would be a time to bring these things in. Madrakis, every once in a while, you see him do something with the arcane, something magic. You have the impression he dabbles, but you don't know his limits. You don't know what he's pulled off. And I like that better on purpose because people are waiting for the next line. This is no different than if you see a stand-up comedian that's annual, if it's the same horse and pony show every year, you get turned off by it. But as the comic evolves, you get to be there with him as he does it.
Yeah.
I want to do something similar to that.
I like the way you gave them all their time to shine, in a sense, right? Like, this is his time. And this, by the way, this page right here is one of my favorite pages.
I'm tempted to turn this into a t-shirt.
Dude, the way this was done was insane, because he's seeing what MX is seeing here.
Yeah.
Right. And he's seeing it through these shards of glass. Like, that was just, talk to me a little bit about the design of that page and how it came about.
Well, it's funny you mentioned shards of glass. The only thing I said to Victor is it's a splash page. I want Chazgo in the middle, concentrating with his eyes closed. I didn't say anything about any gestures with his hands or anything like that. And I said, I want to show panels around him of he's seeing through the eyes of his bird.
Yeah.
So all the broken up pieces, I didn't tell Victor to do that. And each panel looks like broken glass pieces, fragments. And then on top of that, Mr. Kemp coloring it, he made it look like it was looking through a glass lens. None of that was me.
Freaking dope, dude.
Yeah.
None of that was me.
Yeah, none of that was me. The only thing I said is Chazgo in the middle, and here's 6 panels around it, and this is roughly what I want to see in those panels. And the rest was everybody else, including even Micah lettering it. I said, I don't know if I want tails of the dialogue going towards Chazgo or not, but I trust your instincts. And because of that, he could play he had more liberties in regards to placing him where he's going to go.
You know, that's one of those things, because I letter my books, and I also do lettering for some indies. And sometimes the tails and the balloons, once you've established the fact that he speaks with these balloons that are black and white, you don't even need them at that point,
right?
Because they just become noise. If he started doing the tails to him, it would look weird, and it's unnecessary at that point, because it's already established.
Yeah, and also to add to that, in this case, when the tails aren't connected, if you were to isolate any one of those panels around him and you see the dialogue there, it's almost like you're inside his mind looking out his eyes.
Right.
Which just added to what I was trying to get going on there.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is like, and the reason why I love this page is because, like you just described, everybody involved in the project got to show off their skills.
Yes.
You know, like you with the writing, as far as like the fact that you even came up with a concept like this, the artist seeing what you were seeing and putting it on paper, the colorist adding the glass shards, and then the letterer bringing it all together and doing, like, this was the ultimate, collaboration in one page. And that's, I think, why I love the page so much, is that
you're not the only one, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a favorite of mine.
Yeah, no, this is awesome, dude.
Another interesting piece of information is every panel, or sorry, every page, the outside border is black. And that was the decision for that was it's nighttime. I wanted to feel like it's in the dark kind of thing.
Got it. I think when people read this scene right here bugged me out. At first I was like, what's going on here? Who's the girl, right?
Yeah.
But the payoff at the end is really funny. I'm just gonna scroll up. Oh no, you didn't see it. So there you go. I don't want to spoil that one.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Free, but I do not want to spoil that. So so then we're back, and dude, I mean, I love like Victor's line work here on the candles. It gives me that Spawn feel. Like, it gives me that artwork for Angel Medina back in the days, the artist for Spawn for a while. It reminded me of that kind of work, and I love the line work here.
One of the interesting comments I've heard from Dan Kemp, who's colored McFarlane, Capullo, Chance Wolfe, etc. He will say some panels remind me of this artist, or some panels remind me of that artist. It's interesting, not meant as an insult to age, but you have veterans that are literal living history. They can talk about those things. Yeah.
No, his artwork is really awesome, dude. What he did with the characters' faces, the expressions, I mean, I really, really loved what he did with the book. He's continuing now, right? He's on issue 3, correct?
Yep. Yeah, he's when we look at the Kickstarter later, we can have a little bit of gander at some of the pages.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. Like this, just the perspective on that. Like he really did a great job with this book, dude.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, no, this looks great. I was when I mentioned about the pages when they come in. For me, when I get new pages from an artist, it's like Christmas morning, man. Like it's like I'm like giddy, man. I'm like, oh boy, look at this.
Yeah.
And this is exactly, I mean, I can imagine how you felt when like a lot of this stuff was coming through my computer. I mean, you must have been going insane. This is
so talking about spells. If you just go to the top of this page, so a little bit further down. Apologies, that one there. So one thing I liked about Madcaps is debuting different spells here and there.
Yeah.
What he's saying there, it's gibberish. It looks like it's foreign or something, and it talks about the dialogue at the bottom of Sarlacc reminiscing. He's only seen him speak what he refers to as the language of Gale, and he's able to block the majority of those arrows with this orb of wind, which I had a lot of fun. Again, Madcaps has a lot of potential. People like him because he's big, imposing, and powerful, especially with the arcane. He has a lot of potential, even though he's underdeveloped in his potential. But it was really cool to establish certain things at certain times and allow them to do their cool things.
Yeah, no, this is awesome, dude. This is really cool. Yeah, I mean, and they, like I said, like I was telling you, they all have their moment. You know, like. You really give them all the moment. Like this.
Yeah, that one there.
Yeah, that is so freaking cool, man. And though he just tosses them out, it's hilarious. I mean, how powerful these characters are. And this is what I like about it is that there's so much potential for more.
Yes.
It's a 3-issue miniseries, but there's potential for every one of these characters to have like their own ongoing series almost.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple of times.
Yeah.
You know what? I got a good idea. Why don't you skip to the Kickstarter? We got a couple pages on 3.
Yeah.
Just so we're not spoiling the last couple pages there.
I got you.
I really appreciate you going over this for people to see, though. This is good.
Of course.
This is really good for a different set of eyes. I have a coworker who says, as a joke, I'm a big deal. If you don't believe me, ask me and I'll tell you. So I can talk up what I'm promoting here, but it's nice to have other people get a set of eyes on this kind of thing.
Oh yeah, dude. So this is the Kickstarter. Like I mentioned to you guys, let me just hit the little refresh button. Here we go. Okay, so 25 days, 32 backers, 1962. So this ends on Saturday, May 16th at 8:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What time is it there for you right now?
I'm an hour behind you.
Okay, all right, so not bad. All right, so this is the Madcaps. I'll let you guys play the video because I don't know how it's going to play here, to be honest. And I'm going to stop us and go through this thing. I saw the launch, your launch party, and I realized that, oh my God, because Phil, big shout out to Philip Russell, by the way, Global Distribution. He's the publisher of the book.
Absolutely.
You guys had a little issue with the images.
Oh man!
And so was like, "No, what the hell happened?"
So we had it all edited out, ready to launch.
Right.
Everything looks great, and for some reason, there's a bit of a hiccup that portions of it were excessively zoomed in.
Yes,
and they were all fuzzy. Yeah. But another weird thing is one of the images that I didn't see pre-edit was. From issue 2. It was a very strange thing.
Really?
So I'm sure it had something to do with maybe copying it to make number 3 include, but there was some type of scripting glitch or something. Fortunately, Phil was working on that during the launch party, and after we hit go, ironically, the thing almost funded while we were under technical difficulties.
It was amazing. It's funny. The same thing happened to me. I launched a Kickstarter a few years ago for my Wonder Duck book. And it wouldn't launch. It would not launch. Like I kept hitting the thing, and it just wouldn't launch. And there were people watching, dude. And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm about to lose all of these people. They're freaking sitting here." But it was like a train wreck. You know how sometimes you just can't avoid watching. So they were just there. Now they were invested. Is this thing gonna happen? And literally, once we launched, man, and big shout out to everybody who was there. Bam, bam. Everybody just started pledging. I don't know if I was out of pity, like poor guy. This guy was sweating. but same thing. And we fund it. And it's one of those things where now you have a memory of like, yo, remember when we launched that Kickstarter campaign and it just wouldn't happen? But here it is. And your story so far. And so after freeing citizens from a fortified hideout, the recovered book reveals that Ivywood will fall to a curse by sunrise. I love that. See, that's what I'm saying. That part of it is what keeps me coming back to reading the next issue. I love that. And so there's a curse, and they got to prevent it. And you have your cast of characters, so you break it down for everybody. I know there was something in here you wanted to show, right?
Well, first and foremost, that it looks like a pinup. It's also my background right now. Yes. That is, we have a special edition trilogy. We have all 3 issues with brand new covers. When you put the covers together, it makes that image.
No, get out of here. So this is one cover. This is one cover. Oh,
so you have,
dude.
On the left, you have Madcaps facing the main antagonist. You have Sarlacc in the middle, repelling a platoon of skeletons, if you will. And then you have Dunnan and Chasgo facing off against something you see very briefly at the end of the trailer. Go check out the trailer. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, no.
The trailer is also narrated by the voice of Madcaps. So if you want to hear something that sounds very calm and disturbingly masculine at the same time, it's a really wicked combo. It sounds like a very imposing yet intelligent individual.
That's awesome.
Victor Medina, this cover, this is the main protagonist cover. Victor, he did this as a warm-up for the interiors of issue 2. And I didn't find out until the campaign was finished. And I said, I want this to be the cover of issue 3. Like I would have done something with this. Like I would have bought it off. Instead, I bought it off him for the cover. A couple of color tweaks here and there, and I'm a fan. Like Victor's great. I'm very glad I found his talent. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean this is insane. Wow, I didn't realize that he did that as a warm up to. That's freaking nuts, bro. The image that I use for a thumbnail, I love that cover. That
it's coming up. We'll talk about that.
It's coming up. That one is so.
This one here,
dude.
This is the main antagonist cover. This is drawn by Harv Salteras. This is one of the I collected Ghost Rider Volume 2, where Dan Ketch was the Ghost Rider. I loved that series. Harv.
That's the one with the glow in the dark cover, right? Was that?
That's issue 13, I think.
Yes.
That's a Teixeira cover.
Teixeira, yep.
But Harv, he did the first year of Ghost Rider, interiors and covers, and he drew this one, and then Dan Kemp colors it. So when you really think about it, Image is Hellspawn and Marvel's Hellspawn combining talent, the colorist and the artist. Like it was so cool to be able to get these two pieces of talents to cross. They've never worked together before. This is the second time I've been able to pull that off with them, and I'm very happy.
That's awesome. Yeah, this looks great. I like that you have a protagonist and you have an antagonist cover. Like I like that you have that, and you have that 3 spread cut. Like that's freaking genius.
I wanted. I mean, every issue prior, there's the main cover is the group. I didn't want to change that.
Yeah.
But this is the first time we see anything to do with this antagonist. We know nothing about her. All you know is she's an elven necromancer, a walking contradiction. But she's I wanted her to be a statement, and I thought Harv would be the person to pull that off, especially with the undead around her. I think it was just the right pick, and the picture speaks for itself.
Yeah, these things look like they're moving in on us. Like it's really, really cool. Really, really cool.
They look lifeless yet intelligent. Okay, Jay Sloan. You talked about Jay Sloan.
Oh, this is awesome.
This is his cover, colored by Dave Kemp.
Oh, wow. Okay.
In the first issue, you see a little bit of a protective ward that Sarlacc uses during that first outbreak. I have the hiccups because I'm drinking pop too fast. I'm going to be all right, I swear. But anyways, every cover here, I wanted it to foreshadow something that's going on in this book. I'm a big fan of the covers having some type of reflection of what you're about to get yourself into and reading it. So you will see something very similar to this cover there. I like how some of the skeletons are trying to bite through this ward, and they can't really. It's like
awesome, like
glass or something to that effect. In regards to the skeletons, I told Jay Sloan, remove the comedy out of Army of Darkness, or the final fight in Jason and the Argonauts, the stop motion skeletons.
Yeah, yeah.
And he definitely nailed it. Sarlacc's axe is a holy weapon, so you can see when that axe is going into the skull, you can see light shining at it, almost like the creature's allergic to it. Its reaction. So again, the perspective, everything. The two people there combining their talents knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, no, killed it. I mean, this looks incredible, man. Yeah. There we go. Here's another one here.
Here we have Mike Mez Phillips. Mike Mez Phillips drawing Madcaps and colored by Dan Kemp.
Wow.
Again, what you see here is something that happens in the book. So Madcaps is large and imposing, but in one hand, he also has a book on him. This book is a critical plot piece in the story.
Yeah.
And I wish I could say more about it, but that's all I can say about it.
Let's move on to the next one.
Here we have,
this is cool. I like this.
This is an homage to Final Fantasy for the NES. Anybody that knows might recognize the main antagonist position. That's like Garland in the first NES. If you Google image search that right now, you'll see that same positioning. We even have the title pixelated to give it an 8-bit feel.
Yeah, I like that.
While allowing Jenna Stark's art to flare. I didn't need it to look all like pixels, but I wanted it to feel reminiscent. It's almost like the person behind the myth kind of thing. The myth being the pixels. This is the real deal kind of thing.
That's awesome. How did you guys did this effect is really cool what you guys did here with the logo. I really like that. That's awesome.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, really nice job. Here it is. There it is. This thing, dude. Insane.
One thing I like about Donanini is, despite him being 4 feet in height, I find it very amusing that his telescope, that he can blast raw arcana out of it. I find it amusing he can walk up to a tree and just reduce it to splinters.
Yeah.
This cover here is going to be lava foil.
Oh wow! Holy cow, dude!
So that is going to be a statement of its own. I'm looking forward. Shout out to Fish Lee. He did an excellent job with this. All I said is I want Dunnan walking away from something that used to be a building and have it predominantly flames, and I want the flames to be the only light source and have some type of mischief on his face, and lo and behold, here we are.
Wow, this looks insane, dude. This looks insane. Holy cow, this one's also
so
glow in the dark stuff.
Yeah, this is Glow in the Dark. This is done by Pogs Art. You can find him on Facebook and Instagram. Both of his channels have over 175,000 followers. Wow. He does a lot of like headshots and stuff, but they said, I want to do something. I think you're the guy to do it. And then combine that with Dave Kemp's coloring. I think, according to Phil Russert, his Glow in the Dark printer guy, apparently the glow in the dark medium is so powerful it acts like a nightlight.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the cover, and it does, dude. It really, really does. Yeah, the effect is really freaking cool. Yeah, he did it for one of his books and for the Tragedy book, and it's insane. Yeah, no, it works. It works.
But those are the only covers, and obviously already mentioned the special edition trilogy, drawn by Rod Ramos Rodolfo and colored by Dan Kemp.
So is that a special reward? The 3 covers?
It's a tier.
It is a tier.
So anybody that's looking to, like, I've got a couple people. They have one they want to be able to read and one they want to like hang up. So if you have, there's lots of different frames you can get of 3 pictures together. Right. This would fit very nicely in there.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm very happy with how this has all come together. It's very encouraging when we have a lot of like repeat readers, repeat backers. We've got blankets, we've got T-shirts of half of this art. We've got a map of where the story takes place.
There's a T-shirt,
That's page 1 of issue 3.
Love it.
This is something serious going on. The dialogue is left out this time just to keep the spoilers out. As much as I should be holding back here, dude. I wish I could talk so much about all this going on.
I know, bro, and that's why, like, even when I reached out to you to be on the show, I love the passion, bro. Like it's addictive. Like it really, and what happens is it's contagious. So I love talking to people like yourself who love their story, know their story, and are willing to kind of tell us about the story without any inhibitions. Like you're just like, let's talk. Let's really talk about this.
Well, one thing I've learned is you have to force a good time. You have to force good things. So when you say it's addictive and the passion, don't get me wrong. I'm not like faking it, but I'm making sure the awesome things are stated because they're awesome. Why not? Some people are scared of being excited over stuff. I don't care. Let's have fun and be excited.
No, I agree, dude. I think, and again, I think that your enthusiasm, your passion, your excitement, like you said, it's not forced, or it's not, it's not something that you just kind of made up. Like it's there, it's real. It's just you're just going with it. You're like, I'm going with it. I'm not stopping myself from having a good time here. This is what it is. I mean, this book is a good time, dude. Like it really is. And I appreciate you sending me those other two issues to read just to kind of catch up on this thing. And obviously, I've pledged to the campaign already because I definitely want to get the third one.
Appreciate it.
And finish it up. Are you going to be doing any shows in the States, or are you doing even out there in Canada? Like, what are you doing as far as presentations, or as far as like?
So, in regards to going to shows, there's a couple of things that have to happen first. The first one and foremost, this is the most critical, is we got to get this Kickstarter done. I'm a big fan of focusing on one pot at a time. So there's things on the back burner. Phil Russert likes this book enough. He feels it's worthy of local comic shops, so it's going into distribution.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the next thing after that is it's going to trade paperback.
We're gonna have to tell Phil to fly you in for a book signing. That's all. That's all. We're just gonna have to talk to your publisher. I guess that's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to talk to Phil about this.
That would be a lot of fun. I'm totally up to it as long as it's practical for everybody. The sketch covers ×3 there.
This is awesome.
Each sketch cover has a different color font. So the first issue 1 was orange, issue 2 was green. Issue 3 is going to be purple. So they're going to look different. So you can tell them despite them just being a blank cover. So you can actually differentiate between the two when you first get them.
That. Yeah, that's cool. Here it is.
There's the special edition trilogy.
Dude, all 3 issues. For all 3 is not bad, dude. Is that what it is? $50 for all 3 of them?
Yes.
Wow, that's really good. I love that idea. This is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, when I told Rod what I wanted to draw that, shout out to Rod Ramos. He's out in Brazil. We had some just really cool conversation about how I wanted it to look, because each picture has to look good by itself. But when you combine them, it should draw into the middle, which I think we pulled off there.
Nah, absolutely. Now, are they going to be virgin covers, or are you going to trade dress them all?
No trade dress, just virgin. Okay. Yeah. If somebody sees that on display, I want them to be like, "What's that about?"
Yeah.
So it actually forces dialogue.
Yeah, that's awesome. The classic, right? The Jimbo Salgado cover.
Yeah, Jimbo. Yeah, that was the very first cover I had done ever. And
who designed the logo? Ray.
Tim Gronert is his name. He's a fellow Canadian.
That's nice. I like that.
That's all 3 issues there with the main covers.
There they are. Yeah, there they are. I like that you didn't try to force something traditional on the top. I mean, obviously it didn't fit. So you decided to just kind of throw it down here and just say, you know what, I'm not going to cover up any of the art up here or cover the logo itself. I'm just going to bring it down here.
I don't mind certain things covering up the art, but it has to be relevant. You still have to be able to read it. If you can't read it, then why even have a title on there?
Yeah, I was having a conversation with actually Phil about covering it, and he's not a big fan of covering the entire thing, and neither am I. But I think in some of your covers you do have something going over maybe the A, say for example.
Right.
I do like that. I like the fact that the characters are. It almost it shows that depth.
Yeah,
the gives depth. The
layers.
And I love that. I love the layers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do. I don't mind covering up because the way I look at it is, as long as the cover looks great and your characters look amazing, they're gonna pick up the book and open it, and they'll see the title inside. If anything, it makes them ask more questions. So I don't mind some of
Yeah,
the stuff.
if it's done tastefully,
Yes.
it's not something you can just hang on to all the time and pull off all
Yeah.
the time. Now, Jenna Stark is the only individual who has done a cover for each issue.
Oh, cool.
So here we have the Jenna Stark collection. That's all 3 issues. Issue 2 for campaign 2 was actually metal foil, that stained glass window look.
Yeah, yeah.
For this one, it is not. So that was campaign 2 specific, but you can at least appreciate that art. If you're to order that, you can get all 3 of those together.
But you know what I like about even like, for example, a cover like this, the stained glass window, like part of the story in the second issue is he goes to a church. And so the fact that you guys kind of, I like that. It's almost like an Easter egg on the cover. You know?
Yeah,
I mean?
I wanted to
really
reflect what's going on. Another thing about Sarlacc is, although maybe some people would exalt some of his noble duties, he would be the first to reject such a thing. So I thought it was fitting to have him in the stained glass window.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, this is awesome. The catch up physical tears. You have now that's the thing about Kickstarters too, because and now that I'm getting ready to launch mine right at the end of May, I'm like, damn, how many tiers do I have? How many reward tiers do I have? Well, you know, what am I going to do? Like, there's always that question. Was it hard for you to come up with all of these? Like, did you have to sit down and be like, all right, I did this in the first 2. How do I, you know, maybe up the ante on this one?
Well, the first thing I do is I take an assessment of the previous ones. Which ones work? What should we just repeat? And then the other ones are, which didn't work, don't repeat that, obviously. And then I just go by rather rule of cool. So if it seems like, well, if people want 3 covers, why not? You know, if it's a little bit more cost effective, maybe 3 people want to go in and 1 person buys it, and that each person got a cover. Character sheets. So anybody that plays 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, these characters I've adapted to level 5 characters. So they can take their characters and go and play accordingly. Anybody that likes playing D&D or who has never done that before but was always curious, underneath we have, you can play 1 game with professional voice actor and professional dungeon master Michael Towson. Michael Towson, I've done this in the past 2 tiers, and people really enjoy playing alongside of him running the game. Anybody who's never played before, within 10 minutes, you're up to snuff and you're right in the thick of it, having a lot of fun. This guy, all of the money on this tier specifically, it goes towards his services. I don't make any money off of that tier.
Okay, yeah. This is awesome. Yeah, I mean, for anybody obviously fans of D&D, this is like a dream right here. And for $35, I mean, that's insane.
And anybody that has kids from 10 plus years back, there's this kid show called Talking Tom and Friends. Michael voiced Talking Tom.
Oh, no kidding.
So he's voiced for like William Shatner. He's done voices for like lots of different people.
That's awesome. The Enthusiast.
1 cover, 1 t-shirt.
I like it. Now you are shipping anywhere in the world for some of these, right?
Correct. That's correct.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, these are cool, man. Now you have a lot a blanket. What is this? Plush tapestry? What
call it a tapestry. Hang it on your wall or something. But yeah, it's a plush blanket. I've got, hold on 1 second. Hold on.
50 by 60.
I've got one from, this is from issue 2's campaign. I don't know if you'll be able to see the whole thing on camera. Let's make sure. There we go. I don't know if it'll show up on here. It's not really.
But that's cool, man. That the whole thing, huh?
Yeah.
You know, I think I saw. We talked about Philip. I think Philip's got one of those too. Those are cool. I like that.
They're super soft.
Yeah, no, they look amazing.
The supplier Phil went through was it was a good pick.
Yeah, no, that was great.
It's like holding kittens.
Oh man, is this all of the covers?
That's all of them, including the glow in the dark and the lava foil. The options before that don't include those 2. Gotcha. Somebody bought that one already. We already have one backer on it. So very encouraging. Yeah. I think the more campaigns I go through, the more dialed in the covers are.
Yeah. And this one right here is the complete collection. This is everything. You got the map.
And somebody backed that one as well.
Really good for
Yes.
you, dude. Really
Thanks,
good for you. That's awesome.
So there's some pinups. There's all the covers. There's a T-shirt, blanket, character sheets, the works.
Jeez, this is awesome. And then you have the omnibus collection.
So that's pretty much the same thing, except it has a copy of issue 1 and 2.
Okay. Wow, these are freaking awesome. And then you have your add-ons. You can add on the map.
So there's a pinup by Sean Langley. That was from the first campaign.
Right.
For an extra $5, you can get the black and white as well.
Gotcha. Okay.
This was done by Jay Sloan. This was actually a cover for issue 2.
That's beautiful.
We also debuted it as a metal foil poster. People loved it, so we're making it available again. But
this is awesome.
Jay Sloan and Dave Kemp again combined. So we wanted to make that one a metal foil poster as well.
And you can add T-shirts to it.
So the T-shirts as well.
You got secret stretch goals here, huh?
Yes, I like holding back and making people curious. So we have a module style homage pinup by John Zamar. Shout out to the Philippines. Anybody that wants to know what that looks like, you can go to the updates of this campaign and you can see that actual image. At 3,000, we will be revealing another secret stretch goal.
Nice. Yeah, man. And here's the team. There's you, Ray. There's Victor himself. Dan Kemp. Michael Myers. Big shout out to him. There's Philip. Yeah, dude, this is sick, man. This is sick. Man. You've really killed it with this campain, man. You really have. Yeah. Wow, the art is fantastic, says Victor. Dude, great work, my brother. Great freaking work. But yeah, Ray, this is amazing, dude. Like, so once the campaign is over, when will you start? When will we see fulfillment? When will all that stuff start going out? Is the book done, finished? Are you almost there? Where are we with the production?
We're close to finish the book. The plan is, as soon as it's done, everything gets put together, and then Phil Russert does his thing. So he runs this campaign for me, and he's no newbie when it comes to running Kickstarter campaigns. So basically, when this is done, Phil does his thing, and the magic's there. We'll just say, like,
the magic is there.
Yes.
Cool, man. Cool. So if you are ordering stuff here in the States, it will be shipped out from here. You're not shipping it out, in other words, from Canada. So you're not paying.
Shipped out from the States. So let's just say challenges in regards to shipping. Put aside the 8% hike in USPS and everything else. Let's just say shipping from any other location when the majority of your customers are in the States. One could say that's very tariff-ic. But basically, Phil, putting all jokes aside, he has all the printing in that area. He'll ship it all from those areas. I get my stuff when everybody else gets their stuff. So I have to wait just like everybody else, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, no, the campaign looks great. The book looks great. The story's amazing. For those watching, make sure that you pledge to the campaign. It's in the show notes, the link, and it's also in the chat. But dude, this has been amazing. I mean, I can't wait to see the story and finish reading the entire thing. Hopefully you do come out here and do some shows out here. I would love to go out to Canada and check out some shows. What part of Canada are you in?
I'm right in the middle, Winnipeg, a little province called Manitoba.
Are there any conventions near you? What's the nearest convention to like where you are, where you would kind of like go?
6 minutes drive from my house.
Okay, all right. All right.
It's every October. It's usually like the October before Halloween, like the weekends before.
All right.
The big ones are Calgary, Toronto, of course, some of the bigger cities. One of the things about Winnipeg, it's more like a large town than it is a small city in regards to atmosphere.
Gotcha.
So we miss the big booms, but we also miss the recessions. It's just really steady. We get a lot of celebrities and stuff that come to the Comic-Con. It's a really good time. I've met Billy Boyd a bunch of times. He played Pippin Took in Lord of the Rings. Why can't I think of the guy? Ray Park. That's the name I was thinking of. Toad and Darth Maul. And Lots of different. It's a decent size for the size of the city, but big ones are Toronto and other areas like that. For me, my first goal is just to go to the local one here once I've got that trade paper back and actually have a thing, and it can justify my presence. And then after that, we'll see.
No, yeah, I think I can't wait, man. I'd love to obviously meet you in person, pick up some of these things. I usually do the digital backing only because I know it costs a lot of money to ship some other stuff out to avoid that. And then when I see
hear you.
shows, I'll pick up some some books from you guys. But,
cool, man.
Yeah, dude. This has been great. Thank you so much again for coming on. I know that you also do what you call it? You do the
reviews.
Reviews. Yeah, you pick up people's books and you do reviews. So
I got yours on in the works.
All right. Yeah.
I've got a couple of others that'll be shown soon. I've got one for why can't I think of his name? Matthew Schofield. Does that name sound familiar to you?
No.
He has been an editor for The Simpsons since the year 2000.
Snap. Awesome.
He has his own book called Steamroller Man, which is like, it's basically The Tick meets like a bunch of other like Silver Age, not quite corny story, but in this case, intentionally corny.
Yeah.
I've got that coming out. That's my 49th review. I've got a special one coming out for the 50th. And then I've got a bunch of others, yours included, coming out after that.
I thought maybe you were just holding off to make sure you got on here. We talked a little bit before you gave me the review. You were like, that is trash, George. I didn't like it. It was terrible. But you wanted to make sure you were on the show first before you did that. That's where you're going.
I've been between this campaign and promotions and the reviews. I'm not complaining. It's a good problem to have. Just been it's been a full workload, and I'm having fun chewing away at it.
Yeah, no, awesome, dude. No, I can't wait. And I'm glad you do that. It's awesome to kind of like shine a light on some of these indies. It's amazing that you do that. So thank you very much. We really appreciate you.
You can't just take. So if I'm going to be in this industry and show my stuff off, I've got to show others off.
Yeah, no, for sure. What show podcast I should say are you going to be on next? Well, what's on your schedule for those who may be waiting to see you again? Like, I need more Ray.
Tomorrow I'm with Todd Rayner. The day after that I'm with Michael Garcia. 2 days after that I'm with Jamison Rower. 2 days after that Joshua Tyson, and then Al Mega, and it keeps on going.
Wepa! All right, big shout out to Al Mega. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. I like Al. Awesome, brother. Well, Ray, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you. Big shout out to your team. Big shout out to the book. And dude, we can do this whenever. Obviously, Catch the Craze. You can come on there as long as we have, room on there, because we book ahead on that thing. So yeah, if you have more stuff to promote, definitely come on and
beautiful.
We'll chat some more, dude. All right.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having me. Anybody listening, you can find me on Facebook as DM Ray. You can find the Madcaps Facebook page. You can also find me on Instagram as Raymond the DM. But most importantly, check out this Kickstarter, currently live for the next 25 days. We are over triple funded and going strong. If you have friends that you miss, this story will definitely scratch that metaphorical itch. It's just told with the theme of fantasy through the medium of a comic book. Go and check it out.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ray. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We are out of here. Peace out, everybody.